Well, the tomato harvests have officially started. I'm back out here in the evening. I wanted to show you this particular tomato plant and kind of give you an update on the other ones, and then also show you a couple flowers real quickly because, oh boy, the July flowers have started and they are glorious. But this plant right here growing on the trellis, I am so thrilled with. This is a Juliet tomato, and as you can see, it is absolutely covered in fruit, just all over and growing like crazy. It's taller than I am now. It's gotta be like at least 6 feet tall. Just absolutely glorious. These nice little saladette size tomatoes. I've heard really, really good things about Juliet tomatoes, and I can kind of see why, because it's probably one of the happiest plants I have in the garden right now, and I cannot be disappointed by this kind of fruit set. Like, amazing. The other tomatoes they're a little bit of a jumbled mess because I really thought they were going to be shorter tomatoes than they are, and they are getting huge, but so much fruit. There is a lot of fruit on here. You can see some big tomatoes starting to form. Super, super exciting. We've got Champion. Let's see. This is a Bonnie Centennial. That's that big guy right there. And then behind, the phlox are starting to bloom. These perennial phlox, those perennial phlox are always so stunning. I love them every single year. They are just really gorgeous. So it's fun to see them starting to bloom. And oh, there's a lot of spider webs back here. A few other flower highlights. I moved this Gomphrena over here into full sun. It was kind of in the shade, and you can see it's just got like some little blooms. And then this one behind it was in full sun, and it has huge blooms. So I moved it over there so that now they both will have full sun, and they're next to the glorious zinnias here, which are just looking so beautiful. So many fun things happening, like these limoncello supertunias with the blue angelonia growing right next to the container pond here, which is looking lovely. And then you can see my little micro tomatoes are starting to get covered in tomatoes. I actually harvested my first tomato today from the micro tomatoes, so that was super fun to see. Here she is. First little cherry tomato from a micro tomato plant of the season. That is so exciting. Always love to see it. This is a great time of year. Really, really just a great time of year. I'll come back out here tomorrow and show you a bit more about what's going on, but I just wanted to give you those quick little updates tonight, and then I'll check back in a minute. Good morning. So I am out here checking on everything again. I just harvested another Juliet tomato, and a bunch of them are ripening. It's so exciting to see. The Juliet tomatoes are just taking off. I'm about to go do a bunch of deadheading, but I promised you I would update you on the cucumber situation, and we've got some good things happening, so let me show you. Probably my favorite, most exciting cucumber so far is this salad bush cucumber. I've got the water running too right now while I'm out here. I try to just turn it on and let it run while I'm out doing things, just to make sure that I get like a nice deep water, because it's going to be hot today. You can probably hear the neighbor's air conditioner. But look at all the fruit setting on this. There's one here. We've got another one. Another one. So the salad bush cucumbers are supposed to be a less tall vine, and although it is, vining a little bit, it's certainly not as large as like some of the traditional cucumbers, and just covered in flowers and fruit. I'm really, really excited about this. I think we're going to get a really good cucumber harvest. It's very, very encouraging to see this. Now, I have to go back in and check on the seed information for the salad bush cucumbers. Some cucumbers need to have pollinators in order to produce fruit, you know, kind of a typical system, right? They need bees and other little bugs to go in and pollinate the fruit, pollinate the flowers so that the fruit can set. But some cucumbers have been developed for greenhouses, which don't always have as many pollinators in the greenhouses, and so they actually don't need to be pollinated. And I do have a lot of little pollinators around. I'm looking over here. You can see I've got some catmint right here next to this, and super big pollinator attractor, and I see like a lot of little tiny pollinators going around it. But I have a very enclosed garden. It's fenced all the way around, and although I have lots of flowers, and partially to bring in the pollinators, sometimes I think I don't get quite as many pollinators, and I think that can be a little tricky for like my squashes and my cucumbers in particular, where, you know, the flowers are, if you look at a cucumber plant, they're under the leaves at the base of the stem, so they're not right out there, not quite as obvious, I guess, for a pollinator to find. So I'm definitely thinking, as I continue to try to problem solve and make sure that I get the very, very best cucumber harvests I possibly can, I'm going to try to strategize for those varieties that were bred for greenhouses. The seeds might be a little bit more expensive, but if I get the actual production of fruit, then it's probably going to be worth it. I think the salad bush might be one of those that doesn't need pollinators. It certainly looks like it's setting a heck of a lot of fruit. And that may be the reason. Okay, let me show you the other cucumbers that we have going on. So I do have some cucumbers that are growing really nicely up this trellis. These are either, I think I planted Chelsea Prize and Silver Slicer, so it's one of the two. I won't know until they produce cucumbers. And I am seeing lots of flowers, but not a ton of fruit set. I did grow these in a sort of part shade, dappled shade kind of situation, as you can see. My thought being that cucumbers like it a little bit cooler, and they sometimes have a hard time in our extreme heat. And so I was hoping this would help, but not seeing a ton of produce on it yet. So still keeping my eye out for that one. Seems like it's kind of late, like we should be seeing things now, but not yet. This is the cucumber dill bed. Note to self, planting dill around the base did not work. I thought it would be like this abundant plumes of dill growing around the cucumber plant. And that just did not pan out. That didn't happen. That's life. Okay, you may remember when I redid the area over by the worm bin, I made this kind of shade container with a cucumber plant. I moved it over here to get a bit more sun. I just felt like it needed a little bit more. I also there's something going on with the leaves. I might need to treat it, but I do see some fruit starting to set down there. So I think we might be on our way. Future cucumber right there. I think we might be well on our way with that one, and so that would be really exciting to see. That would be really good. Looks like I can turn the water off now. It's starting to puddle. But these are the cucumbers that I'm growing along the fence. And look, they made it all the way to the top. I actually haven't checked. I should open the gate here. See if they're growing on the other side. Okay, a little bit coming through. I'm gonna have to check to make sure, if there's any fruit out here that I harvested. But inside here, it's good to see that it's growing up this fence. And this fence is a nice way to utilize. You can see that it does actually get pretty good sun. We're about midday here now, and it's getting nice sun, and it'll get sun for at least a good 5 hours. I don't know if it quite gets that full sun 6 hours, but that's really my experiment this year, is trying to push it with the cucumber, and I'm really trying to see if I can get them to grow in slightly less than full sun. So far it's kind of working, although we're still waiting, right? I haven't picked my first cucumber yet. That will be an exciting day. But this year is just slow. I just started picking my tomatoes, just got the first few. So anyways, I will tell you one thing that I've heard can grow in the shade and really does, and that is basil. I'll take you back over here just so you can see this basil. It's growing in basically shade. and it's doing really, really well. So that's definitely one I'm gonna try to remember for future years, because that is, yeah, really liking the shady life, and super good to know that that works. There are some other fun things happening over here. These are the pumpkins that I planted on this tower, and those are starting to work their way up, and they're really starting to flower. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, those start to set fruit. And then I'm just waiting. I'm waiting on my zucchinis and squashes. I might have kind of overpacked these grow bags. Yeah, they're looking like really full, but that's okay. I've started to see the first female flowers on them, and that is a good sign. Cucumbers and squash, pumpkins, they have like female flowers that have the actual fruit on them, and then they'll have male flowers. You'll see that. So you always want to look. Sometimes if it's hot or just whatever conditions, you don't see the female flowers for a while, but I'm starting to see them. And the one squash that I'm growing vertically is doing really, really well. I'm loving this guy. He's growing up vertically, really nicely in the corner of this bed, and looks like, so these are all the male flowers. You can see no squash on it. And I don't know if I see any female flowers yet, but maybe on the other squash we've got some. I can see them on the ones right back there. This plant is really healthy. I don't know if you can see in there. There's some female flowers, so that's good. I also have a sunflower that's popping up. Yeah, these grow bags are wild. So much happening in there, but hopefully some harvest soon. Oh, and in updates on blooms, I did have to show you this really pretty coreopsis. So this is a white one, stunning. And then we have the plains, which is also beautiful. I love coreopsis. It's just gorgeous. But I just wanted to give you that update on the cucumbers and kind of where we're at and what we're doing, and just a little look at some of the flowers right now. It's just such a lovely season in the garden. I just like this little corner right here. This is where I want to hang out with all the blooms and all the flowers, all my zinnias, stunning, peppers flowering, just good stuff happening. I'm gonna go ahead, do a little deadheading, and water the containers now. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye-bye.